Okay, hey guys, this is going to be a mix mash of different things, questions, etc. that I'm going to answer. I apologize, I haven't put a video out in a while. I'm actually quite sick again, so if I cough, sneeze, whatever like that, again, I apologize. This question is from That's Fresh 26. He asked to see my I guess it's my Death Knight deck using Krog the Death Fist. I showed this in a previous video, trying not to get glare on this thing. But I didn't go. I don't know if I went too much detail with it. I gotta whip through this really quickly here. Krog the Death Fist as the hero. Gonna go through the abilities. Sorry, not the abilities. The allies that we have here. First ally is going to be Rack Sky Fury. Okay, for one card. The Ogrimmar Grunts, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. Goru Thornmane, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Kagra of the Crossroads, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Gartok Skull Splitter, I have 1, 2, 3 of those. That takes care of my allies. Move them over there. I've got a location card, and that's Ogrim's Hammer for 1. And moving on to my quest cards, the Voice in the Dark for 1. The Boon of Alexstrasza for 1. Chasing Amy for 1, 2, 3. Lazy Peons 1, 2, 3, 4. A Donation of Wool for 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't pronounce this, but Oshugan Crystal Powder for 1, 2, 3. Hidden Enemies for 1, 2, 3. Respite for Tormented Soul for a Tormented Soul for 1 and 2. Takes care of my quest cards. Moving on to the ability cards, we've got Frost Burst for 1. Withering Decay for 1. Grip of the Damned for 1, 2. Blood Plague for 1, 2. Icy Torment for 1, 2. Arctic Blast for 1, 2. And Dark Command for 1, 2, 3, 4. That takes care of my ability cards. I think I said ally or ability. Yeah, those are ability cards. And then moving on to the last group of cards that I have in here, my equipment cards. Bloodbane's Fall for 1. Betrayer of Humanity for 1. Citadel Enforcer's Claymore for 1. And Colossal Skullclad Cleaver for 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I apologize. What is his name? That's Fresh 26. That's my deck. That's my Death Knight deck using Krog the Death Fist. Most of these decks that I'm showing right now, I do realize that I made mistakes on building some of the decks. I haven't built a deck in quite some time. I haven't gone through and reviewed the decks that I have to tweak them. So most of the decks that I have made might have 1 or 2 small errors in it. A card that I put in by accident. Again, it was when I first started. I haven't really gone in there and played with this in a while, actually. But it has been brought to my attention that I have made a few mistakes, and I appreciate you guys bringing this to my attention. I will go into my decks at some point and correct them. Again, I don't play in tournaments, and if I do, I will go in and fix it, but I don't really. So I just play for fun, and if there's a mistake in a deck, what what can I do? I made a mistake. Okay, but moving on. Coming up with something else. Alright, I'm back. There was another question I had sent to me. I just went searching through all my comments and questions. I cannot find it right now. I had a video a while ago about this card and how to beat it, and I did a video and etc, etc. I can't remember where the question is or who posted it, but one of the questions was this card. The poster was playing his friend, and he had 3 of these particular cards or his friend had 3 of these cards in his deck. And I said I only had 1 in my deck. Now these are pre-constructed decks, so each deck should be the same. So if I have 1 in my deck, he should technically have 1 in his deck, no more. Now the other thing is that you have to take in consideration is when you buy the starter deck. Okay, in that starter deck you also get a booster pack. He may have gotten, I doubt it, because these are the purples, which are what, rare. Okay, so you're only going to at most get 1 of these in your booster pack. So if he had 1 of these in the pre-constructed deck and got 1 in his booster pack, then he should have no more than 2 if he was able to, in the tournament, construct his deck using the booster pack and the pre-constructed deck. That's my thoughts on it. Something shady went on there, and I'm not going to call anybody a cheat or anything like that. People make mistakes. Maybe he got lucky. Maybe who is it? Cryptozoic slapped another one in there. But to the best of my ability, or best of my knowledge, when you open up one of those starter packs, you're going to get a deck, a pre-constructed deck. Every one of these decks should be the same. On top of that, you're going to get a set of rules, and you're going to get a booster pack. In that booster pack could be anything. However, in that booster pack, you should only get maximum 1 of the rares or 1 of the epics. Or 1 of the epics. Not 2 of each or. Okay? So he should technically only have 1 in the deck and possibly 1 extra that was given to him in the booster pack. And that's my thoughts on it. Alright, so here's another question. This question comes from Paper Gunmaker 223. His question reads, I don't get how to use armor and the hero ability, so if you could make a video on that, that would be great, please. Alright, so Paper Gunmaker 223, I'm going to see if I can sorry about that. Make a short little blip on how to do this. Once this is your hero here. Sorry, I'm trying to, and you've attached a piece of armor to that hero. When your opponent actually attacks your hero, you can choose if you've got you can choose to exhaust your armor, and your armor will absorb 1 hit point, in this case 1 hit point of damage to your hero. So let's say your opponent is going to potentially do 4 hit points of damage to your hero. If you have a piece of armor, again in this case let's use this one, and you choose to exhaust that armor, that 4 hit points of damage, is 1 of them is going to be blocked, so they'll only actually do 3 hit points of damage to your hero. Now let's say there was another question with regards to armor. I'm trying to remember it now. Oh yes, once this is exhausted, it cannot be used again in the same turn unless you have a card or play a card that will allow you to ready this card again. That is a very strategic thing, because knowing that it only protects 1 hit point of damage, if he was going to make 2 attacks on your hero in the same turn, one was for 1 damage and the other one was for, let's say, 5 damage. Okay, he can, well, it doesn't really matter. In the end, it's going to all end up being the same anyway. But he can, if he makes you, or you choose to use this to block 1 hit point of damage. Okay, you've now expended that card. If he hits you again with another ally that does 5 hit points of damage, it's going to all, and you can't do anything about it, it's going to all attack your hero here. I hope that answers your question. Again, I'm a little foggy right now because I'm sick. The other part of the question that he had here was, I don't get how to use armor, and the hero ability. Well, the hero ability depends. The thing about the hero ability is it's basically just a flip. On the bottom of the card, in this particular circumstance, on Grog, on your turn, flip Grog. Discard a Death Knight. Put target equipment on the bottom of its owner's deck. To me, I don't know. To me, this is pretty self-explanatory. They're very good about telling you what you have to pay to flip the card and what your rewards are when you flip the card. So in this particular circumstance, I have to sacrifice a Death Knight, or discard a Death Knight. Then I can put target equipment, which would be an ally, by the way, I believe, on the bottom of its owner's deck. So if I wanted to use this flip, I would sacrifice an ally, which is a Death Knight. Then I would flip this card over. Then I would choose a piece of equipment that my opponent has in play at this point and make him discard that card. Pretty simple. There are other flips. Let's say in the newer packs. I'm going to use my Worgen deck here. Here's the Worgen hero here. On your turn, it says 2. Now that's going to mean how many resource cards you're going to have to exhaust. Then I can flip this card. Okay, this signifies that I've actually used the special ability that this card provides. This card provides, he deals 3 ranged damage to target ally with a cost of 4 or more. Again, pretty simple. Once I exhaust 2 resources, I have the opportunity to flip this card. At that time, he is going to attack any of my opponent's allies that I choose to target that have a cost of 4 or more to my opponent. Just going to automatically do 3 hits of damage, and it's going to be ranged damage. So that's also the key there. If you have any other questions with regards to this, I'd be curious as to why. I'm not saying anything, but sometimes they can get complicated. But for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. And these ones here that you see flip once, that's an ability that you can only use one time. Now on some cards, you're going to see some text on the bottom of the flipped version of the card. That's generally going to be an ongoing ability that takes effect throughout the remainder of the game, and that's usually buffing your hero in some way, like giving him assault 1, assault 2, defend 1, or something of that nature. An ongoing ability. It will state that on the back of the card, and these are normally in the newer newer expansions, boosters, whatever, where they've decided to make ongoing abilities. So I hope that helps you out there. And moving on to how can I play multiplayer? In other words, more than 2 players. But I don't want to play a raid or a dungeon or anything like that. Well, the answer is relatively simple. If you've ever played euchre, it's pretty much the same way. I mean, you're not going to get tricks or anything like that, but it's pretty much the same way. You and your teammate are going to be sitting across from each other, okay? And then you would roll to see who's got the highest number and who goes first. Then you would proceed to play the game clockwise, counterclockwise, but always in a circle, okay? Let's say this is player 1, and he's teamed up with player 3. These two are teamed up, these two are teamed up. Very important that your teammate sits across from you. That way there's no advantage to two players attacking back to back. This player has a choice when they attack. They're going to play their game the same way they would play the game as if they were playing against one player, but now they have a little bit more option, and a little bit more strategy involved in this. This player can now choose which of the two opponents that he wants to attack. And you can sit there as a team and just beat down one of your opponents and then attack the other opponent. Simple as simple. There's a little bit more strategy in deck building and team play. For example, if you wanted to play, let's say, a warrior, and you also wanted to play, because a warrior, if you set up your deck to be a very aggressive, go get 'em, kill all kind of thing, you might not put any defensive cards in there. Knowing this, though, your teammate might want to play a paladin, and the paladin might be all about healing. Now that paladin, knowing that his teammate is all about damage, might want to use his healing abilities on his teammate. And this is where it gets a little tricky. Not very tricky, but a little tricky. The options that you have now, instead of just playing your abilities on yourself and one of your opponents, you can play your abilities on your teammate. So for example, if you've got an ability that allows you to heal X amount of damage, instead of healing it on yourself now, you can heal it on your opponent. So if you see, not your opponent, your teammate. So if you happen to see that your teammate is doing a lot of damage, but also in that respect taking a lot of damage, and you want to keep them going, much like the much like the MMO, you may want to buff your teammate, allowing him to survive a little bit longer. This is really good if you play the MMO, because it very closely simulates the MMO. And allows you to play with 4 players, 2-on-2, and you can expand this. You can expand this to a 3-on-3, 4-on-4, as long as you alternate your team. So if you're playing 3-on-3, then what we're going to do in that case is, I don't know if I can set this up so you can see this. Actually, we'll do it like that. Okay. So technically there's going to be 6 people playing around the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many players? 6 people playing. Okay, much like, I guess, poker. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what you're going to have here is team 1, 1, 2, and 3. Team 2, 1, 2, and 3. Allowing you to, oh, you couldn't even see that. Let me bring the cards in closer. Okay. Team 1 is going to be here, here, and here. Team 2, here, here, and here. As this person goes, he's going to have his options. He can attack one of the 3 players. This person then goes. He can attack one of his 3 opponents, etc., etc. I don't want to get too much into this, but that's basically how you can do it. And you can expand this as long as you alternate the 2 teams. You may even be able to go a little bit further with this and have 3 teams playing. That gets a little confusing, but it's doable. Have fun with it. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. Really appreciate it. This is really fun. I want to get into a few more other things that I like to try and get into. I would like to do a review of, let me get this out of here, some of these things. I've got a couple of board games that I would like to check out and do a review on. I've played The Legend of Drizzt solo. I haven't done The Wrath of Ashardalon yet. I'd like to have those 2 come out and show you what's going up with those. Let me know how you feel about that. Put a comment down below. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.